Following a brief stay in the States, NARL goes back international with the GT3 AM drivers tonight, taking on the very same Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit that the pros were on a week ago. Long straights into tight twists and turns make this track super racy, meaning our super close point standings are about to take a whole new turn. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Mexico City, Mexico. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with Chris Winstone alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of North American Racing League GT3 Season Number 9. Tonight's coverage from Mexico City is brought to you by Muradness, by JS Consulting, and by Screw Compressor Service Incorporated. And Chris, this was a really crazy track to go to a week ago. I really enjoyed it. This is probably the one track I was looking forward to the most. Certainly up there on the list this season. I'm excited to be right back here this evening. I think this is a really special racetrack for this series as a whole to visit. And man, if last week was any indicator, we are in for a wild race tonight.
Definitely. I mean, it produces some really tight racing. It's a technical track, but there's a lot of opportunities to kind of get your car alongside and carry a battle on through several corners. So I think we'll see a lot of battling back and forth today. We know the AM guys are usually pretty clean. Even the Pro-Am guys, we kind of kept it together. There was a lot of wheel banging, but nothing too crazy. So I think we're in for a pretty good show here at this one tonight.
I agree. I think this is definitely going to be a good race this evening. We've got about 33 drivers, it looks like, signed in, maybe 32, as it sounds like there was a registration error by Muradness' Dean Kerr. This might be the first time this has really been used, where a driver registered in the wrong car, and so they are not eligible to race this evening. I guess he might be able to race, but it wouldn't count for points. So Dean Kerr accidentally registered in the McLaren as opposed to the Mercedes, therefore he wouldn't be accruing points tonight, so he will not be racing, it sounds like, and he is currently listed as the 33rd entry on the list. So, anyways, going into point standings this evening, Chris, here's a look at it. I mentioned in my little intro there, it's tight, and there you go. 14 points separating the top 6, and it's not too many more back to 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. I mean, it is very tight in that top 10, especially tight up in the top 4 or 5. This is going to be a very different graphic come, the next round at Suzuka, I believe, or no, Watkins Glen, actually, I think that'll be the first race of April.
I believe so, yeah. It's definitely going to shift around with as tight as it is and as close as the drivers are to each other, and we already see in the practice session several of those drivers that are real close there in the top 7 or 8, all putting in really good laps, even as far back as Anthony Weyen. He looks fast today. Al Crudo, I think, is going to be one to watch today. He looks really fast, really comfortable. He looks like he knows the track very well, so I think he's one to keep an eye on. Maybe he'll extend his lead today.
And practice is wrapping up with Miguel Alcrudo on top of the scoring pylon. Emilio Almiron second, then Anthony Weyen, Armando Aarons, and Devin Jenkins your top 5. Notably in the top 10, Mason Houseman in 7th, and notably in the top 15, Jourdain White, brand new to the series, checks in at 14th on the practice chart so far here this evening. Practice is over, into qualifying we go, but before we get there, let's take a look quickly at the schedule here for the amateur side of the North American Racing League here in season number 9. And there you see Mexico City on March the 5th. That's this evening. Next up, we head up to New York for Watkins Glen, April the 2nd, and then we go on down through Japan, Virginia, and Road America to cap the season off. I will say, the pro schedule has been altered a bit. It is not yet changed in this graphic. What is going to be changing, however, is the Watkins Glen race is bumping all the way back to May 28th after the conclusion of the amateur season. Watkins Glen will now be the pro finale. So it sounds like, I guess, iRacing went ahead and scheduled the Sebring 12-hour right on top of our race week at Watkins Glen. How could they? But it sounds like some drivers and teams wanted that week off to prep for Sebring. So series admins decided it was best to go ahead and bump Watkins Glen back in the calendar year and just bump it straight back to May 28th. So that will be reflected when we get back to racing at Suzuka for these pro drivers on April the 9th. So Just wanted to make that known, a small little headline within the league news. Also of note here, Chris, we can take a look at this evening's power rankings coming into tonight, and notably on this list, look at the top 3. I think that's a really good summary of how this season has gone so far. Jose De Leo crushing it on top. He's got a couple of wins this season already. Miguel Alcrudo, Thiago Tavela, they are great. Just need to put the races together. And there's a couple of other flashes of brilliance. I think certainly the next 3, Pierre Thompson, Cooper Brownell, and Emilio Almiron have also all been great. Devin Jenkins has even been serviceable. David Stevenson's been good. But then things kind of start to spread out a little bit, I think, after Alex DeMarco. And I think it's wide open right now, 10th on back. Mason Houseman was on this graphic, Chris, but after a couple of weeks ago, Indianapolis, he's got to pick it up tonight to get right back in there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's been really hard to watch this season. It does seem like every season we just have a driver who gets plagued with bad luck. We've had problems with some drivers in, I think, Germany before, having some connection issues, and now he seems to have caught the curse there. But because we know he's fast, so I'm hoping he can put one together today and things go his way. That's just racing. Sometimes, luck can be an element, so hopefully he keeps his nose clean today.
And there you see driver number 83 this evening for Spirit Racing. That's his own sim racing team. Of course, nobody has a lap in here in this qualifying session just yet. Plenty of time, though, to get one set. While these guys get their laps begun here, Chris, a couple of things we can check on certainly would include tonight's MXRaps.com race weather. And there you see 66.1 degrees in air, 67 degrees on track. Pretty cool, especially for Mexico City here. Granted, it is certainly still February, or I guess March, not February. So it's still... technically, it's astronomical winter, but meteorological spring here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's still a little bit chilly out there. Nothing too crazy, though. And there you see Miguel Alcrudo to the top of the board. Mason Houseman will go with his first lap, 3rd of 3 so far. There is Alcrudo, and there you see the Sim Dayton time on the right side of your screen, 8:13 in the morning. You and I were talking before we got this broadcast truly started that, man, some of the camera angles being plagued by the direct sunlight on some of these runways, straightaways, whatever you want to call them. Thankfully, the sun is heading up. That's going to be alleviated, I think. We might still have a little bit of glare. And if we're having glare with the TV cameras, that means these drivers are as well. That could play into things as a few of these guys certainly are going to be in VR headsets and whatnot.
Definitely. It's when the session started, the sun was just coming up. It was really early, so it's better now, and it's going to continue to get better after qualifying, during the race, and especially after the sprint race. The sun won't really be as much of a factor, but when it's hanging low like that, definitely you can get some glare. Notably, there's glare going right into turn 1. Yep. Yeah, there. And from the driver's point of view, going into turn 1, that outside curb, it can be hard to see that. It can kind of wash out the braking boards sometimes.
This right here is the worst spot for our side. Of course, the drivers have glare going the opposite direction. The TV cameras have glare the direction you saw. So basically, anytime we are facing with the TV cameras down towards turn 1, we're going to have that glare. Anytime the drivers are facing... I guess what I said was wrong, technically. It's weird, because the perspective is... Anyways, looking towards turn 1, that's where the glare is. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Seems to not really be a factor so much for Alcrudo. A 41.0 is pretty good. You're still going to be warming up the tires. They should be good to go now, so these next 2 laps. Luckily, we get 3 here instead of... See, you can see from there, see the glare. It makes it hard to see that curb, and it makes it hard to see your braking markers. This is a good line through here, taking really all the inside. You can be really aggressive on the curbs, but you got to be careful, because you can get a slowdown in 2 and 3. And that's brutal here. It's like a 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, so I think what I was trying to say was the drivers going into 1, right? Turn 1 is their worst hot spot for glare.
Yes.
For us, our worst hot spots for glare are corners like turn 9, 10, that area, and then into the stadium section. That's where we're going to have it worse. The drivers have it worse into turn 1. That's what I was trying to say, because Yeah. Anyway,
No, for sure.
with
Yeah.
Devin Jenkins
Accurate.
in the 00, working through. Here is where it's one of the worst spots for us. It's just a white plane these guys are on, almost like the grid map in BeamNG Drive. But Devin Jenkins in his Ferrari, third quick so far. There's Diego Melo in his Lamborghini Huracan. Second quick here in qualifying to this point, and Thiago Tavela in his Aston Martin Vantage so far in the 4th spot. Dan Sales also in a Lamborghini, he is 5th. Armando Aarons in 6th. Anthony Wayand here in 7th in the Mercedes, and the bottom 3 of the top 10 so far. Pierre Thompson 8th rather. Jose De Leo 9th, a slight detour from what we've seen lately, and then Mason Houseman so far top 10. Can he improve here this final lap? He will, but Almiron will go fastest, a 1.40.838. That's faster even than Sales or Alcruda or Mailer or anybody else up there. Houseman improved, but so many other drivers going faster. He is bumped out of the top 10. Pierre Thompson got faster to stay in the top 10. Wayand got quick. Tavela up to second here. Wow.
Yeah, those are some really quick lap times. You can be competitive in Pro-Am, so that's good to see. That's a really strong lap. I think that might get it done for Almiron. We'll see. Aarons is still coming around here. See what he can put together.
Here's a look at Richard Wolsifer currently in car number 56. Having some issue, I think, there with gears. Something like he was on the chip. That's not ideal. He's still having issues. Not sure what's going on for Richard, but he is going to go down the order. 27th already, not a great lap out of him. And then there's Braden Van Wingerden, still somewhat early in his run. He's on lap number 2. And then here is Jordan White, newly added to the series literally today. Got the notification about an hour ago that he'd be racing. And he is another driver for the Spirit Racing group. Teammates with Mason Houseman, Braden Van Wingerden, Cameron Gilmore, and a few others. Jordan making this switch over from the BRB Racing League on Tuesdays. He just completed his rookie season over there, got himself a stage win on Tuesday night. Here he is racing now on a road course in a GT3 car. Didn't like that lap, or maybe he did, I'm not sure, but it didn't count. Seems like he got incidents on each one of his laps. And then here's Clifford Allison the third. Of course, it says I there. That is the suffix for his name, as he is Clifford Allison the third. Jose De Leo did bump up faster there in qualifying. He goes 5th as we take a look at some of the other cars around the racetrack. Something there happens to Clifford. Looks like he's blinking a bit. There's Armando Aarons. And really the only other car that can turn a lap here at this point is going to be Braden Van Wingerden.
Yeah, I'm riding on board right now with Armando. We've got Wingerden here coming through the stadium section. Let's see what he can do under the hairpin. Got to make sure don't run too wide. He's keeping it together. He could have used a little bit more there on the inside, but he looks collected. He doesn't look like he's about to lose it. And yeah, he's done like that one. So just gonna call it.
That will just about do it for qualifying then. Everybody else is in extra laps, so we can take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV the next week or so on the channel. And here we go. We've got a new one added on this graphic next Friday evening. We'll get there in a second, but you can see already NASCAR trucks at Daytona. Until then, this Sunday, we've got an early morning broadcast with the All-American Racing Network taking NASCAR next-gen cars to Las Vegas Motor Speedway this Sunday morning on March the 8th. And that'll be for the early risers for sure, but hey, even if you miss it, don't be afraid to go back and watch it a little bit later on and enjoy yourself some Sunday racing here on the iRacing.com sim. Then Monday evening, we will get back to our usual nighttime broadcast, which we do enjoy. Martinsville Speedway, short track racing for the NORA Retro Cup Series. Those are 2003 NASCAR Cup cars, and I feel like even though some of you guys watching this evening might be road hardcore fanatics, I think anybody can respect going back in time to 2003, because I feel like every kind of racing had more power back in the day, or at least sounded better, had more cylinders possibly, and we enjoy that. So big burly V8s with a whole lot more horsepower than the next-gen cars do today. I'm excited to go to Martinsville with those guys. Bristol this past week was admittedly a bit of a rough and tumble race, but I'm excited to get to Martinsville with those guys. And then Friday, I mentioned a new one for us, the Steering Wheel Nation Truck Series. We're partnering with Tom Baker and Steering Wheel Nation to bring you some coverage of Friday night racing with NASCAR trucks at Daytona International Speedway. Make sure to tune in for that. You can still enter $9.95 to subscribe to their pit pass and get on the racetrack this upcoming Friday. We've got cars headed to the grid here, Chris. They are lined up on the big main straight here at Mexico City. Let's go through your ATVO starting grid. Emiliano Almiron will start on pole position, lead us to the green flag tonight, alongside Tiago Tavela there in 717. That is Dan Sales and Miguel Alacrudo in row number 2. Back in 5th and 6th, you'll find Jose De Leo in that teal Corvette alongside Diego Mello in his Lamborghini Huracan. And in row number 4, how about Devin Jenkins in the Ferrari 296 alongside Anthony Wayand in a Mercedes AMG. Back in row 5, another Ferrari in the top 10, that's Cooper Brownell alongside Pierre Thompson.
Good to see a few Ferraris up there in the top 10. All right, so for row 6, we've got Armando Aarons starting next to David Stevenson. Moving back to row 7, we have Jeff Denardi starting next to Braxton Skinner. Row 8, Mason Hausman gets to start next to Mark Booley. Row 9 is Armando Bejaran next to Mitch Buenaventura in P18. And to round out the top 20, we have Dominic Turcotte in 19th and Justin Cornett finishing out row 10.
Justin Cornett, another newcomer here this evening, added to the roster this week, and I'll be excited to see what he can do. Back in 21st, Bob Guadagnoli in the 64 car alongside Jordan Hendricks. Back in 23rd spot, Alex DeMarco has been doing really good so far this season. That is a sour qualifying effort out of car number 2. He'll start alongside Zachary Brandvold in the 55. Back in 25th, oh man, Zach Lindgren, our broadcaster for the Pro Series, he's starting deep in the field in 25th. He'll start alongside Wilton Palermo. Back in the 27th spot, it's Richard Wolsifer in his Corvette, and in 28th, Logan Smith. The final row of the top 30, Cameron Gilmore, Braden Van Wingerden, Spirit Racing teammates, they'll start just ahead of Jourdain White and Clifford Allison III, as Dean Kerr will not see tonight's green flag. Whiplash SimCam's race details, here they are, Chris. A 20-minute sprint race as per usual, and that'll begin here in just a moment. 40-minute feature race in between those two races. We will have that top 8 invert that will just flip around the top 4 rows of the feature race grid. We will, of course, see fixed setups in the cars here this evening as per usual. 45% fuel in the cars, whether it's to start the race or to fill it back up later on. And 15 incident limit. Do you think these guys will be close to that here tonight?
It's definitely possible. You kind of get to wheel banging a little bit and pick up some incident points there. Usually you come out of lap 1 with a few extra than you were anticipating. And there's a lot of places where you got to be aggressive with the track limits to really get the pace out. And the top guys were doing that. So they might start having to be conservative if they pick up a few incident points from contact. But we'll see who can be consistent and stay out of trouble.
I'm excited to see how these amateur drivers can do this evening on this road course here in Mexico City. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, added recently to the iRacing.com sim, one of the world's premier road courses and one of iRacing's better racetracks in terms of quality of scan and artwork. Here we go, already green flag. Almiron wasting no time. We're racing for the amateur drivers down in Mexico City.
That was a great start from the leader. He just took off and just nobody had an answer.
Land rushed out of turn 1. Tavela blocking down to the inside. Of course, it'll be drivers right. These guys want to enter on. To the right side now goes Dan Sales. He's looking underneath Tavela. No dice there in turn 1. Tavela will take second as they all snake through 1, 2, and 3. 2, 3 wide in the midfield. One car stopping. That's Zach Lindgren. Uh-oh, backwards goes the broadcaster.
That's all right, maybe he's just doing the last to first challenge, but pretty clean from everybody. That was a really good start, really good turn 1.
Oh, Tiago around on his own. Just looped it there in the pseudo stadium section, as we called it last week. Was that turn 5?
Yep.
Lost it on his own as two cars are making contact. Logan Smith, Richard Wolsifer, dooring each other there out of turn 5. They give spots right back to Zach Lindgren.
That's really unfortunate for Tiago. He's going to have to start all the way from the back now. I mean, you got the sprint race to make up for it, but cold tires, they can bite you really hard. And just suddenly here, they can just kind of, the rears like to step out.
One of our first big battles here, Jeff Denardi, Armando Bejar, Mason Houseman. Houseman in the white and yellow car. Denardi into the back of another. He gets straightened out, but not after hitting someone, and that's some big damage. Denardi now forces back up the inside. That's not good. 3 wide there in the stadium section, but lap 1 will go complete here. Oh my goodness. What a tumultuous opening lap.
Got a little heavy at the end. It was still, I mean, tough, but pretty fair for a lot of that. We'll have to take a better look at it, but it looks like somebody's pulling off to the side and slowing there.
That would be Armando Bejaran towing back to the pit lane, as it looks like there goes the entire field on through our front stretch cameras. We did see some of the riffraff there on lap number 1. Let's go back and take a brief look at it. Mostly happened late in the lap, but there was, of course, that spin for Tiago. Now let's go back and see if we can see that really quick from the in-car perspective. I believe he just lights up the rears here between 4 and 5. Really easy to do.
Yeah, just a little bit of a lead foot. It can happen. You get the jitters. You're in second place. And those cold tires just come out and bite you.
That's exactly what it is, too. Cold tires. That's a really odd switchback. It's super early in the lap still, trying to warm your tires up, trying to find grip, and obviously in second here on the start, you're trying to get all you can out of the curbing and keep with the race leader. Tiago just a little too aggressive for the first lap.
Yep, and then you're just stuck. Just has to watch the whole field. You can see him inching forward, but there's just no way. You're just going to have to wait.
And there you see the moment with Wolsifer and Smith. I think it was a little more incidental than it initially looked, but that allows Lindgren to go through. And then we saw the issue for Denardi. That's the 666 car. He is here behind the Maradness M Squad BMW of David Stevenson, it looks like, the 777. To the right, here comes the 12 of Bejaran. And then right behind is Houseman. That's how they get side by side here into the stadium section. Checking up with Stevenson, Denardi hits him. I can't put that on Denardi, honestly, looking back at it, but this was a little irresponsible, in my opinion. You just gave up all that spots because of a mistake. I wouldn't force it back up the inside, make it 3 wide.
Yeah, that's risking a little bit further incident. I get that you don't want to lose the position. You know, time is limited. You're trying to, you know, mitigate the damage, but and that was a tough hit on that Merc there. Whole front end gone. I think that's who we saw pull over. Yeah, that's just kind of tuck in behind. You don't really have to do that. You risk ruining your own race even further. So
he did let some cars go by there though in turn 16. So I think he was trying. Yeah, he was trying to get to the pit lane. I don't think it was intentional that he put it 3 wide like that. It just kind of happened to work out that way. But in front of the field, Emiliano Almiron leading the way in car 22. He has got a commanding lead already of nearly 2 seconds over Miguel Alcrudo. Dan Sales in third, and it's Jose DeLeo in fourth with Devin Jenkins wrapping up the top 5. DeLeo, a run here on Sales. Big switchback out of the Corvette.
Wow, nice. Good aggressive move. Not too far over the curb. Oh, that's going to make it difficult. You kind of get stuck on that pretty deep, but he keeps it together. Nice move. That was a great overtake for the podium position. Now he's up there. So for now, you know, he was struggling a little bit earlier, but he really put it together, and now he's found himself all the way up in P3. He's off to a good start already.
And so a few laps in here to our amateur sprint race at Mexico City. Jose DeLeo up to that 3rd spot. Pierre Thompson, I talked about him being pretty good so far this season. He sits right behind this little battle that we were just taking a look at. He's in 6th. Diego Melo just behind in 7th. It is still really early on, but it does look like Armando Aarons is at a pretty good spot to maybe take this transfer. And I call it the transfer because I'm used to short track oval racing, but it'd be the invert position. And that would move him from 8th up to 1st on the grid. There's Aarons in the number 7 car. He has got a pretty decent gap ahead and behind. He's got 1.7 seconds up to Diego Melo and 1.8 seconds back to Anthony Wayand. Oh, battle there. Pierre Thompson sends it on Devin Jenkins. That's for 5th. Jenkins going to fire back now. He'll be on the outside into the stadium section. This could always be a little hectic. This has brought Melo into the fight.
Oh, nice, excellent. See, this is what this track does. It just lets it. It's really hard to, once you get the move done, that puts you offline. So it's hard then to get that gap right away. And you're going to see now he's going to have that big toe all the way down this really long straight. So this fight's not necessarily over. And, you know, if you stick this sector 1, you can get another good run at him going down to 4. Doesn't really catch up here so much. But that's all right. Tuck in behind. Just focus on your line. Just get it right. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, that's great. That's beautiful.
Problem now is he got a little too close to Pierre Thompson and check up mid-corner. Yep. And Pierre is going to get the run back down this straightaway to turn 4. So sometimes you can get too good of a corner, I feel like, and that was exactly that for Jenkins. He now loses that spot, and look at Armando Aarons. That's why I said it was too early. He's now in this fight. He will pass Devin Jenkins there for the 8th or 7th spot, rather, and that will spit Jenkins out into the current bottom invert position. That would put him on pole in the feature race here shortly. Problems for Richard Wolsifer. He has taken to the pit lane, and it seems like he is done for the day. Unsure as to why. Here's a look back for car 56 before he came into the pit lane. He brings it to the pits under his own power, it looks like.
Okay.
And that's that.
Might just be a life happen situation.
Possibly. Let's see if there's anything earlier in the lap. I mean, we saw that damage earlier to the left side of the car racing with Logan Smith, that green McLaren in the distance. Yeah, I don't see anything here. Unless it happens in these next couple of corners. It might have just not been handling right, honestly. Although, did you see that other car go off? Not sure who that was. Who was following up behind a Mercedes? I thought it was Bob. It was Guadagnoli here. He has a moment. He catches the curve there. Oh, man.
That's so tricky in that section. It's just, I mean, you got to be aggressive on those curbs. But yeah, there's like this really weird area where if you kind of just barely go over it, it hooks that curb like you saw there. And it just throws the back end of the car around because all of a sudden the front end just rotates so much more.
Have you ever gone skiing or snowboarding?
I have tried once.
Even ice skating? It's like if you catch the edge, like the outer edge of your ski, you will go falling hard. And so it's similar to that because the inner edge of the tire is getting just over that side of the curbing. It then catches on the curb and it just upsets the car, makes it not handle right. It throws it into a spin. I'm trying to see if I can get a good camera angle to show it. But I've been skiing many times in my days, and honestly, when I saw this, it's immediately what it looked like to me. It's like when you catch the outer edge of your ski, you're gonna fall. Each and every time. Right here, you can catch it just on the inner edge of that curb. It really upsets the car. I don't know the physics behind it, it does not like it.
Well, yeah, it kind of just acts like a rail. It grabs the tire and pulls that front end around, and the back end just can't keep up anymore.
Devin Jenkins looking good. He has fallen back a little bit to this 8th spot, but he's having a good day. Might be able to get the spot back away from Armando Aarons here to turn 1. Looking to the inside, now outside. Big switchback out of the Ferrari. And almost gets the nose ahead into the apex. Has the inside here for 2. Nose ahead now, outside for 3. Position gain. Jenkins gets right back around that big burly Mustang. That is for 7th. And now Anthony Wayand, oh boy, the opportunity in front of him has to be tantalizing with Stevenson and Houseman not too far behind. If Wayand can get up into this 8th spot, that would of course be pole position for the upcoming feature race.
Definitely, that's all he's going to be thinking about right now. But, you know, just stay focused. You're going to have a chance. With any luck, you know, maybe those two will start fighting each other a little bit again, and you can kind of make up some of that gap. But you still got 8.5 minutes. You still,
What was that?
That was a lucky miss there, I think.
Wow. Armando Aaron.
Room, go forward.
Really odd spot. Another goes around.
Uh-oh.
That was
I think two
Justin
guys were
Cornette.
battling there. Yeah, I think two guys were battling through those corners, and the guy on the inside just... That'll surprise you.
Really big issue here, and the S's watch out. Oh my gosh, Logan Smith. Yeah, that's going to be close too. That was Buenaventura going by. Well, let's go see how Armando ended up in that situation to begin with. The poor 12 car, man. He was there for a while. This is him down into turn 4. This happens out of turn 7, I believe. He's on his own. Of course, he was involved in that incident with Denardi back on, what was it, lap 1. But he's really just trying to recover and get what he can out of this race, and this is not going to help him.
Or if he goes over this outside curve, no.
Just got loose.
Yeah, I think that's probably too heavy on the brakes there. You have to be really light. You kind of want to brake earlier and a lot more gently, because if you're just slightly too hard on the brakes there, that's kind of what happens.
And there went the leaders, and then I want to see how the 5 ends up spinning here. Cornette, there he is in turn 4. He's racing with the 2 of DeMarco. So here they are into that hairpin. They're quickly approaching. Let's go on board and see what happens. Very similar.
Wow.
And, he actually he was able to save it, then got hit by DeMarco. But the beginning of that was very similar, where just on braking and the downshift, the weight transfer, all of it, the 5 just got a bit loose.
Yeah, I think his might have actually even been, if you look, he might have gone over that outside curb. There's the outside edge of that curb is real tall and it has a sudden drop off. There are so many places in 7 through 11 that you can just lose the back end. That one, I think he hooked it over the outside, and then I've done
Just
that in
like
practice. Yep, and then yeah, that's the brakes for sure. So that's what's so scary about this track, and one thing that I was saying makes it so difficult is there's a lot of places where once you get the car kind of on or close to the limit, it's really, there's a lot of sliding that goes around, and I had a nice battle going on here.
And this is your race lead, actually, and you can see that lap car ahead. That's Denardi. He could be impacting this here soon. Bumper to bumper there between Miguel Alcrudo in second and Emiliano Almiron, your race leader. Truly bumper to bumper there in the hairpin. I think these guys will certainly catch Denardi by the end of this race.
I think so. I mean, and you can see, look at the line these guys take. That's great. You got to watch out because you can get kind of an off track cutting through that grass and tin, but that line was just about perfect from both of those guys. So I think, wow, but yeah, Alcrudo definitely has the pace here. Definitely. Oh, this is a great move, trying to go around the outside. That's not going to work, but you're going to force him defensive. So right now, you're just forcing him defensive. You don't need to get around right here. Is he going to do it?
Up the inside goes Alcrudo. That would be good for the race lead for a moment at least. Trying to clear him. Drag race now onto the front stretch, and you see the Pampa 22 has got to run. He exited on the outside. And he's going to have a big run down to turn 1, but can he clear Alcrudo? I don't know. Alcrudo's going to have the inside, I think, to turn 1.
Who's good on the brakes here, though? Now he just tucks in behind. That's all right. Oh, he's setting it up. Here you go. Look at this. Now he's going to get this great run here.
Beautiful.
And the fight goes on. Oh, a little bump. But that's okay. Good save.
Beautiful work by Alcrudo. Beautiful work, though, by Almiron to block it. Oh. Almiron didn't have to do anything there on approach to turn 4. He just sat right in the racing line and let Alcrudo psych himself out. And
this is, I mean, well, this is what you got to do if you're Alcrudo. You're all over his mirrors. Like you're in his head. You give him a little bit of a bump. Now he's like, oh my God, is this guy crazy? Is he just gonna? You can see Almiron is taking that kind of more dangerous, risky line over the outside on the entry to 7. But you can see it opens the corner up for him, so he can get some space. And then, yeah, Crudo gets it back because he's got the better line through the second part of that section.
Here we go. This is a tight braking zone right here. Hard on the brakes. Alcrudo nearly gets into the back of Almiron. These two guys easily should be Pro-Ams next season.
Oh, I think definitely. They've got the pace. They've got. I mean, they're doing a great job racing each other. It's tough but fair.
For me, it's not even the pace.
Fit right in.
It's the racecraft right now. This is excellent.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just. It doesn't feel like they're about to take each other out, but it's just it's just well held. They're doing exactly what it's tough, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to find the right words. They're doing such a good job. I really think you're right. That's a spot-on assessment. Pro-Am. Bring them up. They're ready.
You see back through turns 1, 2, and 3. You see Alcrudo close in the midsection of that corner and then lose it there on exit. Again, that's how you can get too good of a corner. You get too close to the car ahead, then you have to back out of it. He might have even had a slowdown. I think he did because he just lost a lot of time.
Yeah, he's being a little too aggressive. He's trying to set that up, and yeah, he kind of paid the price for it. That's a second and a half that it usually gives you right there, so that's going to be tough to make up. I mean, you basically got a lap to do it, so that might be the end of that fight for now. But they're going to flip, and we'll see what happens for the feature race when they do.
And a rare sprint race pit stop here out of Mitch Buenaventura. He has come in... It looks like to serve a penalty for too many incidents. There you see Bob Guadagnoli in the background and Jordan White behind him. By the way, Jordan White, promising coming in, was quick in practice, has not had a great race though. You see he started in 32nd, now runs in 25th. He has moved up a handful of spots, but not a spectacular run. And then our own Zach Lindgren really struggling here this evening, down in the 26th spot. He's down a position since the green flag, and he even texted me pre-race and said, not good. I made him a bet, though, Chris. Before we got broadcasting here, I made him a bet that he had to go top 10 or he'd be doing shots when he got over to my place here in a little bit for our weekly game night. But regardless, Emiliano Almiron takes the white flag. There you just saw the graphic by Whiplash Simcams. One more time around here in the sprint race. Alcrudo has fallen a little ways back, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to get there for this win.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of places, and one of the best places is turn 1. You already don't have that, so that's rough. Yeah, more incident point drive-throughs, looks like. That's never good.
Meanwhile, those are your leaders. They're on the hairpin at turn 6 now. Let's check on some of the other battles around the racetrack quickly. Pierre Thompson here racing with Dan Sales. This is for 4th and 5th. Devin Jenkins behind in 6th, then Diego Melo 7th, and Armando Aarons 8th. Anthony Wayand looks like he will not catch for that spot, and Mason Houseman currently would take a top 10, but he's got David Stevenson right behind. Meanwhile, Alcrudo has a run here. Might be the final good opportunity to get him.
Yeah, it's time to, either... If you're going to make a move, now's the time. But yeah, it looks like he's too far back, so...
Oh, never say never!
Inside, he blocks it off. Oh, but he spins it anyways!
Big contact! Almiron feeds it back! Alcrudo's got the position. Will we see another bump here in turn 16? Answer is no. Alcrudo's going to drive away, but will that stand in the eyes of the stewards? I don't know.
I mean, it's tough. He made it through. He made it stick. There was enough room, just barely. He kind of had to force his way in there, but I don't know. I kind of like it. I think I don't know. That might be controversial, but that was a very impressive overtake. I liked it.
That was definitely some NASCAR-style racing there at the end. Palermo and Brandvold racing. Brandvold just had a spin, it seems, on this final lap. Palermo trying to take advantage of that. Brandvold is the big Mustang. Palermo's that Porsche. Big contact there to turn 16. Hold it together, guys. Palermo in the wall. Brandvold hits him again, and they're going to drag race out of turn 17. It will go to Wilton Palermo for that 17th spot. My goodness,
Wow.
you'd have thought they were racing for the win there.
Can you imagine having a seat for something like that in that stadium right there? Just banging, coming out of the wall, coming out of the corner, into the wall, still hold it together.
What about a
Well
seat
done.
for what we saw for the win?
It's so good. It's just this track. I don't know. It just the way it works out. It's just you get so much good side by side racing. It carries on for a lot of corners, and it's just a great one to watch. Here we see, yep, crossing the line there. A few stragglers.
Here's Clifford Allison. He will finish 29th here in the sprint race. I think he's just out there to have a good time and keep learning here on these road courses. Justin Cornett, penalty on that last lap. He exceeded the incident limit, and he gets put to the end of the longest line in 26th position. Before we get to our typical mid broadcast festivities between these races, I want to go back and take a look at what the heck just happened for the win in that sprint race. So give us a moment to cue that up. That was spectacular, but as much as we enjoyed it, Chris, it may not fly in the eyes of the stewards. Let's see, what were the numbers again on those cars? 22 is Almiron, and so that's already happened here. Let's go back a little bit further. You mentioned the stadium section seats. Well, here we go. Some fan cams for you. Big send out of Al Crudo. Almiron feeds it back to him. A little more contact right there. Al Crudo gets away, and that's kind of that, but man, it seems like it might have done damage to Almiron's car when they made contact there into the initial apex of the stadium. Let's see it again. Watch this. I mean,
Yeah, it's a tough one.
it's really
he gives
tough.
him gives him a little bump. He closes the door on him, and you kind of, when you're going through there, you're almost committed to that move. Right at the apex. Like at this point, you're accelerating. You're like, all right, I'm going for it. And when he closes the door, it's a little bump and run. But I don't know. I don't know how they'll look at that.
I can tell you if these were stock cars, that'd be fair and square. I mean, that's racing at that point. But in GT3 like this, there's just different racing standards. And let's see it from Al Crudo's perspective. I think it's perfectly fair for Almiron to have taken the line he took and defend on the inside. Al Crudo, I mean, there's not daylight initially. He kind of creates it. Man.
Yeah, he gambled, and I mean, because you do want to move back over there. I don't know how much the bump moved him off of that line, or if he was going to stay there on the inside. I'm not sure if he jinks out back to the right, because you want to get it back to the right for the hairpin anyway. I don't know if he does that. Yeah, that was aggressive on the door, but
undoubtedly it was aggressive. I guess I'm looking for the court of public opinion here. We've actually just made a poll. I don't always do this, but I'm curious today. A poll on YouTube. Is this clean or dirty, guys? I'm curious because Almiron does move over before contact is made, and Al Crudo just shoots the gap. But you can see he got into Almiron, and I wonder, Chris, if we can back this up one more time. I'll slow it down even. Watch when Almiron moves over back to driver's right, it's almost like Al Crudo thinks he's going to keep going over to a traditional entry point, like a traditional racing line, and maybe that's why he pulled the wheel back to the right, so that he could get a run into the corner, a good angle into the corner. Instead, Almiron just gave Al Crudo enough daylight to get inside, and Al Crudo took it. I mean, that's tough.
I personally think it's fair. I think it's a gamble because you're definitely relying on him getting out of the way. But as soon as you see him jink to the right, it's like, all right, I'm going for it.
Yeah, and like watch right here. As soon as Al Crudo or Almiron, the blue and white car, moves back to the right here, it's like Al Crudo's thinking, okay, he's going to keep going and get out to a traditional like entry line into the corner, and then Almiron cuts the wheel short, and Al Crudo hits him. I don't think this is intentional. I think I'm. Not to toot my own horn, I think I'm spot on there. I think Al Crudo thought he was going to keep going higher.
I think so too. I think if he would have just kept his wheel straight, I think he would have gotten up there with no problem.
And personally, I feel like Almiron's fair. If there's contact made one way to move you out of the corner, I think Almiron's fair to give it back. But you see Al Crudo able to get back to the line. I think if there is any penalty handed down, it will likely be in post, considering that's also for the invert and everything. I think they'll let that stand for now, but who knows? We'll see if the admins decide to do anything on that. I do want to take a look, though, one more time at the upcoming broadcast here at Pit Stop TV. Here you go. Las Vegas up next. That's with the NASCAR Next Gen vehicles for the All-American Racing Network. And then Monday and Friday, each end of the week, we've got the iRacing build right in between there on Tuesday. But we've got Monday short track racing with NASCAR 2003 Cup cars at Martinsville in the NORL Retro Cup Series, and then the Steering Wheel Nation Truck Series begins next Friday, a week from tomorrow, at Daytona International Speedway. I'm excited for that. There's a lot of great things. Let me see, if I go back to my listing here of everything going on in that particular event, there's going to be, of course, the live broadcast here on Bitstop TV, pre-race show, post-race show. There will be trophies to every race winner. The winner interview will actually air later on the Tom Baker Show in April, and there will be pre- and post-media coverage from Steering Wheel Nation, and coverage as well on the Inside Groove Pit Pass community, thanks to Steering Wheel Nation, and that particularly is what you'll need to subscribe to get into that race. So for those of you guys that are on road, I think this could be a good opportunity to get into a big attention-driven oval series, and it would be starting out at Daytona. It's easy, I promise. Daytona is simple. You hold the gas wide open and don't lift until you see Jesus or the checkered flag. That's it. But we have got our feature race coming up. Let's hit the grid here this evening, Chris. I'm excited for this. First, though, I want to see the weather conditions, how they've changed. The temperatures are coming up a little bit, and even if we look at the date and time here now, we are, an hour later in the morning, so that makes sense. It's still pretty chilly out there, honestly. This is about when I'd be waking up normally, so it's a nice cool temperature out there, 67. I like it, but that track temp, I think, in this race might get closer to 80. Is that going to help or hurt these guys?
It'll definitely slow you down. You lose some grip, and it just kind of gets a little bit tougher to get everything you were out of the car. You got to brake a little bit earlier. You're getting out a little bit more understeer. So the lap times, I think, will go down, will go up rather. They will get slower, but I don't think it'll have any effect on the solid racing that we've actually seen. I think we'll just still get more of that. The times will just be different.
Well, let's take a look at this evening's feature race ATVO starting grid. There you go. Armando Aarons able to invert to pole. Diego Mello will join him on that front row. Devin Jenkins in the double lot will start from third. Pierre Thompson from fourth. Back in fifth, Dan Sales in the Lamborghini alongside the Corvette of Jose DeLeo. It'll be Emiliano Almiron and Miguel Alcrudo back side by side in row number 4. To complete your top 10, how about Anthony Wayand and Mason Hausman?
Good to see Hausman found his way into the top 10. We've got David Stevenson in 11th, starting next to Cooper Brownell in 12th. Followed by Dominic Turcotte in 13th, and Braxton Skinner starting alongside him in 14th. Then we have Tiago Topola, who had that unfortunate spin, so he'll be looking to make up some time here, which he definitely should be able to. And Alex DeMarco next to him. Wilton Palermo in 17th. Next to Zachary Brandvold in 18th. And P19, we have Mark Booley starting alongside P20 Logan Smith.
And to complete your field, how about 21st? Jordan Hendricks in the 33 alongside Mitch Buenaventura. Then Bob Guadagnoli back in 24th. Jordan White in Guadagnoli in 23rd, Jordan White in 24th. Back in 25th, Zach Lindgren. Justin Cornett got that penalty on the last lap. He falls to 26th. Jeff Denardi, 27th. Armando Bejaran, 28th. And the back of the field, Clifford Allison, Cameron Gilmore, Richard Wolsifer, and Braden Van Wingerden. It looks like the back few cars will not start this race. Cameron Gilmore, Richard Wolsifer, and Braden Van Wingerden have called it a day. So 29 cars now will take the green flag for our feature portion of Amateur Night here in Mexico City. We're excited to have you back along with us this evening. It is always a pleasure to have some North American Racing League racing on the channel. GT3 cars, Mexico City. Let's get this feature race started. Down into turn 16. These guys will light up the rears, hit the power, mash the gas. Here we go, turn 17, green flag, feature racing at Mexico City.
Yeah, once again, we have another good, clean getaway from the leader. That inside line just proving to be a pretty big advantage. Everybody else has to scrap it out in the back with all the tow.
Big run out of Thompson. He's going driver's left. Driver's right goes Jenkins. Mello in the middle. 3 wide. Turn 1 for second. They stay 3 wide. Mello hits Jenkins. Aarons, no, that's going to be Alcrudo out wide in the grass.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge for the championship. That's huge for that fight we were hoping to see between those two, but there's a lot of time. Hopefully, he can get some of those positions back.
Already, either Mbuli or Guadagnoli without a front bumper as well, deep in the field. So, some issues here on lap number 1. We'll, of course, get a look back at it here in a moment. There's some of the midfield chaos through turns 4 and 5. Some contact there. Alcrudo has blended back in 14th. So he's not completely out of this. 40 minutes ahead. I mean, he can certainly make it back to the top 10. Top 5 might be a stretch. I'm not sure he gets back to the podium.
Definitely. I mean, it's a long race, and one thing we haven't talked about is we see a car dip off into the escape area a little bit. Probably lost the back end. Good save there. That's Mitch Buenaventura rejoining. Good work there to do that cleanly. We haven't talked about how much you can get away with fuel saving here.
Oh,
ooh, that's just all wrong.
And DeLeo sends it back.
Yeah, I think he gave that one back. I think it's one of those where you get kind of a little bit embarrassed.
So lap 1 goes complete. And it'll be Armando Aarons out front in car number 7, Pierre Thompson second, then Diego Mello, then Jose DeLeo, Emiliano Almiron, and a battle for the 6th spot. Down this long front stretch to turn number 1. Houseman is in it. 3 wide he goes. He backs out. That was wise. That'll allow Mello and Brownell to fight. Rather, Sales and Brownell. Sales in that Lamborghini. Brownell in the Ferrari. And look at this mess right behind with Anthony Way and David Stevens and Zach Brandvold and so many more.
Yeah, everybody just kind of, you're trying to get in single file, but you're trying to make up all the positions as people are fighting each other. You know, that pushes you back into the guy behind who's looking to pick up the scraps. And, ooh, that's, yep, and that's...
Oh, there they go.
And it just gets worse. There's the front end off of that car. Looks like it popped back on.
That was Logan Smith again in that green McLaren. More trouble here tonight as Anthony Wayand gets back going finally. Deeper in the field. Miguel Alcrudo here now in 12th, right on the back end of Mason Houseman. Rather, this is Zach Brandvold. Houseman is up racing with Dan Sales. Sales is around. Trying to get to Sales. Hang on, there he is. He has stopped. So he pulls off the racetrack, actually, as Alcrudo is on the back bumper of Brandvold here to turn number 12. Deep into the brakes goes Alcrudo. That worked.
Yep, very nicely held. That's another position. He's already back up into the top 10, so I think, you know, you maybe make some adjustments with the strategy. Who knows? Could definitely make I think a podium could be possible. He's got the pace.
And Brandvold gonna hit the pit lane. Problems for car 55. So he hits the pits. Let's go back and see a little bit. Let's see, straight into his box. Might be a penalty.
He might be just getting, well, I feel like he might, oh, that's interesting. Still had it in reverse. That's unfortunate, but I'm wondering if he, well, that seemed surely too short for fuel.
I think it might have been a fast repair. Might have had some wheel damage. Go back a little bit further here to the beginning of this race.
And the back end looked a little dented.
It started with Devin Jenkins here. This is turn 1 coming up. He dives on the inside there of Mello and Thompson, and then right here in turn 2, Mello's still inside. Boom, contact there for Jenkins. Alcrudo gets stuck behind him. Little bit of contact, nothing severe for Alcrudo.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Jenkins. I mean, when you're 3 wide and you kind of, I don't think he saw the other car on the inside. You don't really have any way to know. You know, the spotter will tell you, but sometimes he just sneaks in there at the last minute, and you know the car on your inside's given more room than you expect.
Oh man, we missed something here on the pace lap.
Oh.
That would be how one of those orange Mercedes lost their bumper. Let's see this. A big checkup, and Zach Lindgren got a big piece of it. He has parked it for the night. He's done.
Oh. Oh, God, you hate that. That's the worst. I mean, you want to at least make it to the green flag. And this, have to see what the deal was. That slinky effect is real. Everybody slams on the brakes. Somebody stopped there.
That is unfortunate.
Yep. When you check up like that, it just each you go, it gets that effect gets worse and stronger. So I've been caught out by that before a couple times, and that's not fun. That's a really frustrating way to end the night early.
Back up to live picture here, watching your race leader Armando Aarons from one Mustang to another from this team. Of course, TPRT had Al Crudo in this lead battle in the heat race. Now, in the feature, it's Aarons leading the way after the invert. Al Crudo is buried deep in the 9th position. He has made it back into the top 10, as you can see, but still needs to go a little bit further north, I think, to meet his own expectations, I would imagine, after that heat race. Boy, there's a lot going on back here, though. Blink there from Anthony Wayand. He is behind Jeff Denardi. Buenaventura racing with some others. Mark Booley, Jordan Hendricks, a whole bunch of other guys here. As Booley is also without his front bumper. Hendricks was that green BMW that was in that checkup coming to the green that we saw.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he might be carrying some damage as well, because he got tagged in the rear pretty hard.
Battle here
Good
down
here.
to 12 in the... Oh, that was Palermo at the inside. 3 wide now for a moment. They sort it back to 2. Palermo looking to the inside again. This is fantastic racing. It's just for about 20th.
That's
Big
great,
dive.
man. It's really deep in the field. These are going to be going up. For one we see, there's probably 2 or 3 that we don't. And, I mean... It's going to be this up and down the field, and that's really great. You see now, hopefully you can get a tow off for your teammate. He can give you a little bit of help trying to break it for the other guy, but he's kind of alongside, being able to make a move here around the outside of 1.
Still fighting there. You see Hendricks back around the outside of Palermo. They check up now. 2 Porsches and a Mercedes go 3 wide. That's Mark Booley in that orange Mercedes, driver's right. Here they go to turn number 4. Booley on the outside, Buenaventura inside. That'll switch back now for turn 5. Wow, this is fantastic. Again, this is deep in the field. 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, that kind of range. And a couple of green cars ahead are Logan Smith and Jordan Hendricks. They are 15th and 16th. So these guys are admittedly out of the running for the win tonight, I think, but certainly still fighting for their own points positions. And at the very least, Chris, certainly always some bragging rights out there. Oh, Palermo for a spin. I believe that was on his own, just lost the back end on the curbing, and he's going to fall out of that fight now.
The rears jump out and get someone else. We've seen a lot of that today. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of places to do that. Looks like David Jenkins is going to get a really good run here. Hopefully make up some of the positions he's lost from the start.
Jenkins here racing with Jourdain White in that number 11 car. Jourdain, over on Tuesday nights, we call him the Jamaican Sensation or the Jourdain Train. He is one of the few drivers we've found in this iRacing thing so far from Jamaica, and he's one of the youngest drivers over there, but has the most fans, I feel like, on any given Tuesday night. Loses that spot to Devin Jenkins, but as you can see here, Jourdain out of that little island country of Jamaica. Of course, in the news recently, the name Melissa being retired by, 4 hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. And, of course, thankfully, Jourdain and his family were safe when Hurricane Melissa ran through there, I believe, back in, September. But that was a scary situation, and I think a reminder to, as we get into more crazy weather here in the northern hemisphere again as we approach spring and summer. Maybe pay attention to the National Weather Service and such, as already we've had some severe weather across the United States, some tornadoes and such, but clear skies here, I gotta say. Well, maybe not clear, perfectly clear anyways, but very sunny skies. Sunny skies? That's not how that works. Sunny skies! Oh my gosh. Word vomit, I guess. By the way, that poll on the heat race finish came back as 60% dirty, 40% clean.
Oh. So pretty split, but yeah. 60-40?
That's interesting. Only 5 votes were placed in that. Hopefully we get some more for the driver of the day vote here shortly, but you know, I can see why that would not be appreciated regardless. You know, I think we broke it down pretty well, but I can see why fans would not appreciate that move.
I could definitely see it, and I can definitely see how if you're Almiron, then you might, in your head, just be thinking, well, let me see you again. Wow. We'll see what happens. Nice in there on Hausman.
Oh, Thiago Tabela to the pit lane. He's getting tires. That's a little bit odd.
Yeah, the tires is interesting. I wonder if he just didn't turn them off. You don't... I'm not sure how much you need those here, but... Yeah, this is a pretty early stop, but you can... I mean, the pit window is huge here. It's just enormous.
He is still in the pits, so problems there for Thiago today. Mitch Bonaventura just had a moment. We'll take a look back at what happened to car 14. He's one of the good guys, I feel like, of this series. Contact there with the 33 of Jordan Hendricks. Let's get a better look at that. And we'll see it here now. He's been here for a couple of seasons now, has had some flashes in the pan, but this season, and even last season, I feel like a little bit off from Mitch, and hopefully we see him back to his top-tier ways here in this division of the North American Racing League, because lately it just has not looked too great for driver 14. But then we have this battle here. Hendricks and Booley side by side. Hendricks the advantage into the stadium section, and then Braxton Skinner and Jeff Donardi, or rather Bob Guadagnoli, passes Braxton Skinner. Great fights throughout the field. Just got to know where to look, as here we go. 6th, 7th, 8th. Alcrudo, Brownell, and Houseman.
It looks like Brownell got around Houseman finally, so... But he's got it stuck in there. The fight's probably not over. You might be able to... Let's see how much he wants it back, or if he just wants to settle in. It looks like he still wants it, so... Up the inside here, and wow, very nice. Gets the move done, nice and easy. It didn't look too bad. Nice and clean. See if he can get back on the back of Alcrudo, because we know he's got some really good pace. So if you're Hausman, that's a really good opportunity to learn a little bit, maybe make some adjustments. Now the risk there with this track is he might be doing some things that he's practiced a little bit, and if you try that, there might be a jolt that you're not expecting, and that could be it. So, but there's still a lot to learn when you're following a driver that's really fast like Alcrudo is today.
Let's go on board here with Miguel Alcrudo. He is now approaching Jose De Leo, and I know the last handful of weeks we've felt like De Leo might be the top driver here on the series. The power rankings certainly suggest that, but I'm going to be honest, this has been an off night for Jose, kind of mid-top 10. Still not bad by any means. There's no world in which mid-top 10 is bad, but not as good. Yeah, didn't win that sprint race. I don't think currently he's going to win this feature race, as you see some of the leaders there in the foreground. But Jose, 5th place, certainly nothing to scoff at, just not what we've seen the last couple of weeks out of him. Instead, it's Armando Arians leading with now a flash there out of Pierre Thompson, and these guys are pretty close. So I guess I shouldn't speak too early, because if we do have a crash or something here, Jose technically is not far back.
That's true, and I mean it's good. It's a good sign for De Leo that we're talking about. Oh, if he's not winning the race, then, or if he's not top 3, then it's kind of off. It's an off day for him, so that's not a bad position to be in as a driver. And yeah, these two, even if they don't crash, they might slow each other down and get you into it, and they're not that far back. And that's also good news for Alcrudo. You kind of want some of that chaos up front, try to make up that time. But De Leo's not totally out of it yet. You know, it's a long race. So a lot of things can happen still in the 25 minutes we got left.
I am replay hunting here for Wilton Polero. I think he's just going to end up pulling off in a second. Here is driver 71 out of Puerto Rico. Oh. They got a frustration, just chucked it off into the barrier there. And then, moments ago, we had a problem for that other Porsche, Mitch Buenaventura. Here that is, in a second. I gotta get back to it. He ends up having a tow as well. Here is driver 14. And just decided he had enough.
Yep. Was wondering if he was going to lose it there, but it didn't look like it. Just kind of had, yeah, like you said, just had enough. Hopefully things get better for Mitch. Ooh.
Race lead.
Hello.
Pierre Thompson contact there with Aarons. Here comes Almiron. They have given him an opportunity now to get back into this. Oh boy, how's this going to work out? Down to turn 4.
This is 3 drivers we've
watch
seen.
Out.
Some late moves of swerving. That's a little suspect, but everybody keeps it together. Almiron's being really patient. Don't want to stick your nose in there when Thompson's moving back and forth like that.
Pierre Thompson nearly clipped the back end of that Mustang of Armando Aarons. That was nearly a crash there for the lead. Now you see in the background, Thiago Tavela in the way of Diego Melo. Melo's trying to find a way by. There's a lot going on in the front of the field right now. And Melo now gets passed up by Al Crudo trying to get by Thiago Tavela. Man, I get it, Thiago, but you are a lap down. You had a 50-second pit stop. I think you got to let the leaders fight here. And you see the blinking now as here's a move from Almiron into the stadium section. No dice there. Trying to balance all of this happening at once. Thiago finally moves out of the way of one car, but it's only Al Crudo that goes by. He has still impacted Diego Melo here. Jose De Leo now has a look to the inside. Mason Houseman is there. There's a lot happening suddenly in the top 10. 23 minutes to go. Battle here for the race lead.
Yeah, and again, this is going to be slowing them down. These are great battles, and now we've already noticed Al Crudo back up into P4. He's already recovered. If you're Almiron right now, you're in this battle for the lead, but you've noticed on your timing sheet, you've noticed that who it is behind you now.
Look at that shot from the onboard off the side. Oh, contact!
Oh, no!
Almiron sends Aarons for a spin. And I'll tell you what, TPRT is not going to be fans of Emiliano today.
No, he's definitely not making any friends over there, so... And Pierre just... Now he's looking pretty right now. He's got 2-second gap now on Almiron, and you know that those two are going to fight it out, but you're kind of hoping they slow each other down. I'm not sure. Maybe he's picked up a little bit more pace as the race has gone on, but it'll be hard to outpace those two. I mean, it feels like it was only 3 minutes ago we were talking about Crudo all the way back in 7th or 8th. So things can change so quickly. Go through it all still solid in P5, and Hausman's got himself up into P6, so he's actually having a pretty good day as well. So
I definitely think Hausman can easily go for top 5 here, if not even a podium. But I think the first step here is Melo needs to get by this 717 of Tavela. Meanwhile, you see Jose De Leo go protective there into the stadium, just ahead of Mason Houseman. This the battle for 5th, rather. There's Hausman's on board. And we have started to see some pit stops. That last lap, Braxton Skinner and Mark Booley both pitted. Granted, they each took some damage repairs, and now Emiliano Almiron into the pit lane.
Oh, this is interesting. It'll be important to see where he falls back out. Oh, no. Well, that's the thing. A lot of contact from all these drivers, and
that's a shame.
That just shakes things up so much. Now there you go. Now DeLeo in P4. Hausman's got himself a top 5. Al Crudo's up into P2. So I think it changes so much so quickly. That was literally a minute ago. It's just... So it's always important to stay in it. Even when you want to pull over and quit, just stay in it. You never know.
Hendricks and Smith have both pitted this lap. Those teammates making their way to and from the pit lane. Battle here for 6th. Stevenson on Brownell. Stevenson in that BMW.
Really good looking line there for Stevenson. You can see him kind of making up some of that distance through this technical section, but kind of late on the throttle there. Yeah, still more room on the inside. There's a few places he could be finding a bit more time, but he's got, he's taking a pretty clean line through everywhere. Hopefully he can close this gap. We might see a pretty good battle on our hands. They're pretty close in pace. They're kind of back and forth. Brownell's looks to be quicker in some areas, but Stevenson is definitely quicker in others. So if he can kind of absorb that knowledge from back there and see, it's like, well, where is he pulling away and what's he doing differently, and then just kind of incorporate that.
By the way, we talk about Almiron kind of being dropped out a bit. He ended up right in behind Evan Jenkins. So both of these guys who had trouble here in this feature race, they're together now. And that shows you just how, I guess, how damning the spin was for Jenkins there on lap 1. Diego Melo now has a problem. He falls back behind DeLeo and Hausman, potentially a slowdown there. I don't know. Hard to say, but swapping spots again here in the top 5. Hausman now, a couple laps ago, I said he might be able to get a top 3. Here he is in 4th. I think he can definitely get Jose DeLeo today. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he's right there. You're looking at the back of him. I mean, that's going to be pretty motivating. It's going to be pushing you on. You're starting to think, okay, I can do this right now. So it looks like we're going to have a potential fight for the lead at some point, I think, and then we'll probably have another good battle for this last podium position.
Definitely great fights all around the racetrack. Not quite as many as we had earlier on, but still a few as, oh, dear problems. Dan Sales, Jordan Hendricks. Final corner on the racetrack. 18 minutes to go, and these two have found some kind of trouble. So here's Hendricks, just pitted recently. Might be on cold tires, might have taken tires here. Slides to a stop. And don't tell me this is a bad rejoin. He's right in the pit lane entry. Flips the car around. Oh, man.
Oh, that was rough.
Yeah, that's a learning moment for sure.
Definitely.
Man, if I will say, if this was the pros, this would be inexcusable. I think given this is this is AM, I think you can, again, chalk this up as kind of a learning moment, but this is definitely something you want to get out of your system very quickly if you can. That's not a great look at it, but it gives a little more context. I mean, Dan had no clue what was going on there. Now, there is maybe something to be said for there being a local caution there, and Dan Sales could have been a little more ginger in his approach to that situation, but, let's look at his onboard, and let's watch. I don't think there's anything he could have done. Let's see his perspective here. Comes around the apex, back on power. Yeah, no, I mean, there's nothing he could have done there.
No, definitely not. I mean, you can brake and try to go to the inside, but you're probably still not going to make it anyway. So I think you're kind of... That's just unfortunate. It's a good learning opportunity, like you said. Ooh. Just don't let it discourage you, don't let that kind of thing make you quit. Just get back up there and just remember, okay, next time I'll wait.
Very similar situation. Brownell around in the final corner. A lot of cars on the way. Stop there. There you go. See, that's the ideal way to do that. Small little adjustments to back up and get going. And he's just going to take it to the pit lane. That's smart, I think, especially considering DeMarco is in the pits. This is a good time to pit. Maybe a lap early, but I don't think that's really going to hurt you in the grand scheme of things. I know the strategy ideally is to go as long as you can, as short of a stop as possible. But frankly, I don't really think the 1 lap difference is going to make a huge deal on the racetrack. And I do anticipate this being one of the final laps these guys spend on the racetrack before their pit stops. We did see, I will say, we kind of forgot about this. We saw some crazy fuel mileage in the pro race a couple weeks, or a week ago. And that really surprised Zach and I. So we could see these guys go a bit longer than we were expecting, but time will tell, as this is a battle for the race lead now. Pierre Thompson, Miguel Alcrudo starting to fight here. 15 minutes to go. Pit stop's on the way. Let me ask you this, Chris. If you're either one of these drivers, do you want to pit and get out of this, get your pit stop out of the way, get back out there?
If I'm Alcrudo, I might want to, because I just, you think if he's not in my way, I know I can go faster. So maybe just do the opposite of whatever he does. If he comes in here, then I'm staying out. If he doesn't, I'm coming in.
Look at that.
And that looks like what's happening. So if you're Thompson, you got to put it in. This needs to be your best lap right here, and then come in and try to get out in front of him.
Mason Houseman also pits. We'll see if any others decide to come in this time around. So far, it's just those two. Let's see, Jenkins, Almiron, and more go on by. Looks like as far as the leaders, that's it. Jordan White actually just had a problem. He spun around coming into the pit lane, it seems. But there he is, hitting the pits. And on the other end of pit lane, there goes Mason Houseman. He's going to follow Miguel Alcrudo back onto the racetrack. Alcrudo currently in 9th, about 26 seconds behind Pierre Thompson. And look at this little fight. Oh my goodness.
You just give him a little bump, let him know you're there, try to keep from getting caught by the car behind. Try to get him to outbrake himself maybe, but nope, holds it together. That's where you want to be careful right there. But they all hold it together nicely. It's kind of left him vulnerable on the inside, and that double apex, it's hard to stay hanging around the outside there. Oh, I think someone's a little upset. That's
Easy,
some pretty
boys.
aggressive banging.
Easy here. Still a ways to go. 13 minutes and 10 seconds, and a lot can happen in that time. Don't want to ding your cars up before the end of this race.
And that was a little Days of Thunder-esque, I think, from those two.
Jenkins now looking inside. I think he wants to get back at Almiron here. Can't do it just yet, so he'll have to wait a little bit longer as they work now through the stadium section. Pit stop out of the race leader, Pierre Thompson. There's a shot again from Devin Jenkins. He is not letting Almiron get far away. And here's Pierre Thompson in the pit lane. You also see Justin Cornette. He just spent about 50 seconds in the pits there. And now we'll exit back onto the racetrack. Thompson pits pretty much on his own. Dominic Turcotte is in. There you see his Corvette. Not many others this lap. Diego Mello around final corner there for car 66. That has become the hot spot.
Just especially as the tires get worn, it can be a little bit difficult to keep the back end under control. As crucially, Crudo still behind Thompson. So Thompson did get out of the pits in front of Alcrudo, but not by much.
That's a good call. Yeah, Thompson here about a half second ahead of Alcrudo, so this fight will pick right back up where it left off. Of course, they're each still going to have hot tires. Neither of them will have changed tires, just the little bit of fuel to get back on the racetrack and keep going. So this is tentatively the battle for the win. We'll keep an eye on it, as Jose De Leo currently leads. There goes one car out of his way there to go a lap down. I believe that was Dan Sales.
See if is he gonna come in here yet, or
let's see. Let's set the pit in camera here. We do have one hit in the pits. That is Dan Sales. And there comes the 777 of Stevenson, then the 7, I believe, of Aaron's. So second and third currently, and here comes Beharan from 4th. Interestingly, Emiliano Almiron has continued on. He has not pit yet.
that is interesting. Now I know you joked after the Pro-Am race about, you know, excited to see who's going to try to go, you know, the full distance. And I'm just wondering, is it possible? Is there someone who's just doing a lot of lift and coast? Can you make it around? I didn't do the math on that. I'm not sure that you can, but, you know. I've been wrong before.
I don't think so.
No, it would be impressive, but
You'd have to do a lot of early upshifts and
yeah.
late downshifts, I think, to make that happen. In addition to a lot of lifting and coasting, a lot of drafting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's reasonable, but, you know, it raises into question, if we ever do come back to Mexico in this race format, if you have an early stop, if you have to pit early for an issue from an early crash, could you pit in the first few minutes and be okay to the end? Because even 1 or 2 laps gets you that much closer. I think last week the pros were only about 3 laps away from making it on a single tank, maybe 4. So if you have to pit in those first handful of laps, could you be within range to go to the end? And even now, DeLeo keeps going. Maybe he's going to try and do it. You know, we have a lap predictor, if you will, of how many laps we're going to run in these races from ATVO, and it tells us about 24 laps expected. We just began lap 19, so that's 6 laps to go if that prediction holds. Just for reference.
That is a long way. I don't think it's doable, but he's got a pretty sizable gap now, so I mean I think it's still probably going to pay out pretty well. And you can definitely, that pit window opens up really early. I think on our race I pit, it was either lap 3 or 4, and then I made it to the end.
There you go.
So it's definitely doable.
While these guys continue on here towards the end of this race, of course, we do have Driver of the Day coming up. I want to try to give one more time around for DeLeo before we do it, just in case he does pit. That would cycle the field back out a little bit. But before that, I want to give a big thank you, of course, to our partners here with the series, Moradness, JS Consulting, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, and Rocket Designs. Moradness, of course, does field teams here in the North American Racing League, but is also a fantastic and invaluable driver resource. It's a great community as well. Daniel Morad has put in so much work at his time here on iRacing to become one of the top driver coaches here on the sim and have one of the top communities for all drivers on iRacing.com to enjoy. And we certainly do appreciate all of that, in addition, of course, to his glove brand. And here we go. Into the pit lane goes Jose DeLeo. Glad we waited just a little bit longer. We should see Jenkins pit here as well. But a big thank you to these partners, Moradness, JS Consulting, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, and Rocket Designs, painting a bunch of those cars out on the racetrack this evening. Jenkins will pit here. So this will complete the pit cycle in just a moment, as we actually missed the pass for Al Crudo around Thompson. So he has gotten by for what will be the lead and possibly the win. Quickly, a big thank you to our partners, Whiplash SimCams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. Chris, shall we go back and see if we can find this moment of Al Crudo passing Thompson, possibly? Let's try it.
That'd be a good idea.
This is about a lap back
trying to
now.
scan.
And, uh-oh, I've gone to the Shadow Realm here. So this is just after the pass, it looks like. Here we go. Here's turn 1, about 2 laps to go.
Looks like Thompson ran very wide there. That's going to make it easy for Al Crudo. That's just a mistake, just outbraking himself for Thompson. That's tough to lose the lead like that. See, did he... Yeah, he might have just got it done by the end of the corner already.
Just like that, Al Crudo simply drove up to him. Thompson made a small mistake, very small mistake, and Miguel able to take advantage of it, and I think that's going to weigh heavily into what we're about to talk about, Chris, our North American Racing League Driver of the Day vote. Of course, we each get to make 2 nominations, and being that this is the AM category, we get to make 2 from the same class. Who you got?
Well, I think first on my list was definitely Al Crudo, who, he got run off there at the end of, at the beginning of the feature race with that incident in turn 1, and he had to kind of take avoiding action. That put him way back down there, I think, in like P12, P13. Just didn't panic, kept himself calm, moved himself all the way back up. Now he finds himself in the race lead, albeit with a little bit of luck. So that's definitely my first choice. The second is a little bit more difficult. I could go
I've got one if you want me to go real quick.
Oh, go ahead, because I got a couple. We'll see which.
I'm definitely going to go first for Armando Bejaran. We saw problems out of him, problems for him rather, there in the sprint race. Here he is now, up from 28th to 10th, 18 positions gained. I think easily we got to give him a nod and at least see if he can get himself some votes here.
Yeah, definitely a worthy nomination. That's a good day. That's always something you can, a little feather in your cap you can put there is 18 positions. So I guess then for my second pick. Oh, excuse me, I had a little bit of a cough. So for my second pick, I think is between DeLeo or Hausman. I think I'm going to go with DeLeo because he was struggling early on, but I was kind of asking before, who are we going to see who's consistent? And he has definitely fit the bill there. He's definitely been consistent. And now he's got himself on the podium, and he's looks like right on the back there of Pierre Thompson. So he's looking for a P2, clawing back from what we thought was going to be a pretty mediocre day. And he says, no, you know what? I think I will take that podium.
Absolutely. He has put together a really solid race, actually. Got those few laps led. And interestingly, he was right on the front bumper of Hausman before the stops. Now he's about 4 seconds up. Hausman took about 9.3 seconds in the pit lane, or in the pit box rather, to DeLeo's 7.5. So about 2 seconds faster in the box for DeLeo. That does, of course, usually mean less fuel, but it seems like he's doing okay. I want to give an honorable mention to certainly to Mason Hausman. He's up 6 spots. He's done a fantastic job, and this might be the best performance he's put in together so far. But I do like looking at positions gained, and there's another one that's standing out to me, and that's Alex DeMarco. He's had kind of an up and down quick 4-race stretch to this point, but this is certainly on the up and up. 16th to 6th here in the feature race. Wasn't the greatest sprint for him, but he's put together some nice positions here in the feature, and he's decently close to his teammate David Stevenson. I wouldn't rule out a top 5 here for DeMarco.
No, I think that's a good pick. Yeah, and those two cars look really good in line there together. So, yeah, 10 positions. That's also not a bad performance, and definitely worthy of a nod. It's always good to see him do well. Uh-oh, is this Tiago again?
Yeah, Tiago around. That vote has now gone live over on YouTube. Just a couple minutes to go, but make sure to vote quickly before we get these driver interviews here in this post-race show coming up. Here's Tiago Tabela. Just around, gassed it up out of the stadium section there, and around it went. Well, no battle for the race lead right now. Miguel Alcrudo has got that locked up. You see in the background, Thompson and DeLeo. This could be exciting.
Yeah, definitely. You see he's trying to prevent getting the toe. DeLeo's trying to make him go defensive, but he's not going to on that time. There again, I think he might be struggling a little bit with the tires, specifically the fronts. I think he's getting a little bit more understeer than he's used to. Just keeps out braking himself. I don't know if maybe the wind changed or the track's definitely been heating up, so that's all going to affect him. And I think DeLeo's, whatever the issue is, he's made the better adjustment.
I mentioned Jordan White being out of Jamaica, of course, Pierre Thompson as well, as we've noticed this season. Kind of flew under the radar with that fact, but we don't usually see many sim racers out of Jamaica. Good to see a couple here now in this series. Jordan, by the way, down the order, unfortunately, but it is his first start in his now rookie campaign. He just had a pass-through for incidents. He is down in 18th, but Pierre Thompson with his hands full of Jose DeLeo here trying to hang on to second. Got a little bit of daylight behind him now.
That's what you want to see. You're hanging on for dear life right now if you're Thompson. And then also if you're, it's kind of the pressure's building on both the drivers. Time's running out, so DeLeo's definitely going to be feeling it soon. I know he definitely wants that P2. It's a few extra points. Ooh, that looked like that was pretty close to clipping the wall there.
White flag for Miguel Alcrudo. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams, and there you see in the background the bobbing and weaving out of Thompson and DeLeo. Hausman is not far back. If either one of these guys have an issue, Mason Hausman could still get a podium finish here today. In line, DeLeo, big dive there to the inside. He pulls it right back in behind the Mercedes for second.
He's just trying to get in his mirrors, let him know that he's there. Look at that, that's good. That's very good line, very good exit there, but I don't know. I think it's not going to be enough. Thompson, you could see he kind of just absorbed the off track and just used a little bit extra. Now you're too far back now. Just get in there. Ooh. He's very good under the brakes. It looks like the car is still feeling really good when he's going to slow it down. You can see how much time he made up just from that. Oh, what a move. He just pokes his nose in there. It's still kind of there. He's got him closed off.
Here, Thompson back on the inside, backs out there. This might be everything Jose needs for second, but now in the heavy braking zone down into the stadium, Thompson's going to have the offense here. Bumper to bumper, through the S's. One more straightaway to go, really, for these guys as Alcrudo leads into the final couple of corners, into the stadium section. He's trying to sweep the day. Of course, controversial there earlier in the sprint race. DeLeo now defensive into the stadium. He's going to hang on to it over Pierre Thompson, but for the race win, to sweep the day here in Mexico City, Miguel Alcrudo. What a performance. Jose DeLeo will follow him up, but Alcrudo sprinting to the top of the leaderboard. I think not only here tonight in the race, but very soon in the standings as well, as here's a great battle. Tavelo around again in front of these guys. Turcotte and Jenkins side by side. This is going to be tight. Right behind Tavelo. Turcotte sends it. Puts Jenkins at the racetrack. Here comes Armando Bejeron to go through. Turcotte now on driver's right. Door slam to the line. Turcotte will take 8th. Bejeron 9th. Mello 10th. And Devin Jenkins drops out of the top 10.
That's a tough finish for Jenkins. Yeah, flashing the lights. I don't know how much he liked that, but yeah, it's always rough to lose that many positions right there at the end.
Here's on board with Jordan White. He's got some damage on that number 11 car. He's trying to run down Robert Guadagnoli, but you can see just that fender punched in on the right side of his Ford Mustang. A couple of cars behind him battling possibly for position. Not actually sure about that part, but Jourdain just not going to get there, unfortunately. Guadagnoli going to drive away as, oh, is that Booley maybe? Oh, that was Guadagnoli, rather, with Dan Sales. Them having a moment not for position. So Jourdain White will have to follow Mark Booley around. That will be for 19th position. Booley will take 18th, White 19th. You see a bunch of damage on the left front. He has been in the wall or something rather hard. And then Bob Guadagnoli takes 20th with Dan Sales 25th. So Miguel Alcrudo had enough fuel left over to keep on going here. How about that, Chris?
That is, I mean, what a recovery. I mean, you got to avoid something. You think it's going to be a disaster, but there's a great example of why you just don't give up, and he gets the sweep, and it's really good to see. I don't think we've seen anybody sweep this season. Definitely not this season.
I don't think anybody has swept amateur yet. I could be mistaken. I think we've seen one or two in pro, but I don't think we've seen a sweep in AM yet. Might have to check the record books on that one. Regardless, a great day here for Miguel Alcrudo, and certainly going to be front runner here of the rest of the way to the championship rather, here in season number 9. We'll take a look back in just a moment at our unofficial race results, and then we'll talk with some of our top finishers here today at Mexico City. First up, though, to recap where everybody finishes this evening, Miguel Alcrudo with the win, and he will cap off an excellent day here in Mexico City. It'll be over Jose DeLeo, who came in on the top of the power rankings. He might drop a slight bit, but he had a great recovery here in the feature race. Garrett Thompson, third. Also a great day for him. Obviously would have liked to get one of these 2 wins, but regardless, he's in the mix for sure. Mason Houseman, David Stevenson complete your top 5. Great days for each of those drivers as Alex DeMarco comes home for a solid 10-position gain in this feature, up to 6th. Armando Aarons obviously wanted to be higher up after he was inverted to the pole, but I think he'll take a top 10 at the very least. Dominic Turcotte, a great day in 8th. Armando Bejeron endured some troubles to 9th, and then Diego Melo grabs a 10th spot.
Yeah, so moving on to the rest of the top 20. In P11, we got Devin Jenkins, then followed by Emiliano Almiron in 12th, who we had some great battles with him, and that just unfortunately didn't work out with him and Al Crudo. Anthony Wayan in 13th, followed by Cooper Brownell in 14th. Jeff Denari comes home 15th. Braxton Skinner in 16th. Logan Smith 17th. Mark Booley gets a P18. Jourdain White in his first race. Pretty good. That's a solid debut, P19. Things could have gone better, but that's not a terrible result. That's a good one. And Bob Guadagnoli wraps out the top 20.
And back in 21st, as I finish pinging some drivers here for podium interviews, you will find car number 5, Justin Cornett, still kind of learning where he's going to be at this season, but good to see him in the field here tonight, 21st spot. A little bit off where I'm sure he'd like to be, but he at least made it to the end, and that's more than can be said for a handful of drivers here tonight. Thiago Tabela does get to the end, though, in 22nd after his troubles today. A big slide for him, certainly, both in the standings and power rankings coming up. Thiago started the season off on the right foot, and it has been sour ever since. Clifford Allison, the third, there in 23rd. Zach Brandvold does finish the night in 24th. Dan Sales in 25th. Jordan Hendricks out early in 26th. We saw the moment there between he and Dan Sales. Mitch Buenaventura, 27th, early exit. Hate to see that for Mitch. Wilton Palermo, 28th. Zach Lindgren, 29th. And Cameron Gilmore complete your 30 cars in the front of the field here tonight in the feature race. I guess the whole field. I shouldn't say front of the field, the whole field here tonight at Mexico City. Boy, the drivers are lighting up Discord chat. There is a lot going on already. Definitely certain drivers having certain opinions. That's okay. As we await drivers to join us here for broadcast interviews, Chris, we can take again another look here at what's upcoming. We do have some time away. So as the iRacing build comes out next week, this actually gives guys, I think, a chance to kind of relax as it comes to this league, right? A chance for, and you can speak on this, I'm sure, a chance for you guys to get used to whatever might be changing in next week's iRacing build, then just focus on Sebring, and then get back to racing as we will approach the next North American Racing League event. That'll be Watkins Glen on April the 2nd for these AM drivers. This, of course, pushes Watkins Glen for the pros back to May, late May at that, but it does mean that next up for the pros, we will go to Suzuka and then pick right back up where it would have been traditionally set up for both series. So the pro schedule graphic will look a little bit different next time out, but there you see, nothing changing for these AM drivers. So, Chris, from a driver standpoint, especially on the pro side, what does that mean for you and anybody you're working with this season, getting this time away from the league to kind of focus on, again, learning whatever might be changing, focusing on Sebring, and then getting back to racing? Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's good to have a little bit of time off and kind of recover. I mean, some of us, myself included, are older gentlemen, you might say, and so some of us have, little recuperation of the arms and that we need to do. And what's going to be interesting is now we get to watch the AMs do Watkins Glen before us, so I'll be excited to kind of see how that goes, and maybe they can show us a few things this time instead of the other way around. So it'll be good. We'll all have a bit more practice. If you're not doing Sebring, like I don't have a team for Sebring, so I'll just be focused on, learning. I got a few days I can spend on each of the tracks, and so you get a little extra prep. It'll be setting us up for a lot more good racing for the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting change-up, I think, for sure. But I'm excited to see how it changes, I guess, the approach to these races for some of these drivers. Obviously, it's not going to change too much. I think, considering it is the pro race that's moving back, I don't think it's really going to hurt them at all, but we'll have to wait and see how it ends up going for you and the rest of those pros and pro-ams, Chris. We do have some drivers, though, checking in now. We don't yet see Miguel Alcrudo, so we will just go straight on down to second place, and that will be Jose De Leo, who ends up winning that fight over Pierre Thompson. Let's bring in Jose, and I feel like we've been talking to you a lot, Jose, but this time not as a race winner here tonight. Could you have gotten up to Miguel if things had just gone slightly differently, or was he just out to the races?
Nah, he was just way too fast today. The top two guys were just way too fast. I was not gonna get there. I needed a miracle.
Well, you still got up to second by all intents and purposes. How about that? I mean, earlier on in the race, I feel like halfway through this feature race, I was kind of talking about you and Mason Hausman. You were each like 5th, 6th, right around there. And I was like, yeah, maybe they can get a podium. And then here you are second. What changed?
I was looking at him, actually. He was just fast, and I just tried to up my pace a little bit to keep it behind. But I was lifting all the way from the bridge to the first corner, trying to save fuel, and I think I played it. I went the strategy way, and I think it played out at the end. I got second.
The goal wasn't to like go the entire race on one tank, was it? Because I know we saw the pros last week extend these fuel tanks way longer than we thought, and even you guys tonight went quite a ways. You especially. You only ran 4 laps there after your pit stop. So were you trying to go all the way, or were you just trying to go as far as you could?
No, I was not trying to go all the way. I know that the guys in front were battling and pushing, so they were using gas. So I said, okay, let me save on my side. Let's see how where I end up at the end. And fortunately, it worked out for me. I mean, I got second, tough second. I tried to play it as safe as I could there on the last lap. Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad I'm second, actually. It was a tough race.
And next up for you guys, it's out to Watkins Glen. The pros, they got to wait. They'll be in action next at Suzuka with the schedule change. But for you amateurs, it's out to Watkins Glen next. It's another really fast course. And I think there will be some contact there again, just like tonight. What's the outlook for you, especially as it's nearly a month away?
Same strategy. Survive those first few laps. Play it safe, do my race, and see where I am at the end. And then if I have an opportunity to attack, I'll be there.
Jose, it's good to talk to you as always. Congrats on a P2 tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Jose DeLeo there, P2 in his Corvette this evening. P3 goes to Pierre Thompson out of Jamaica. Let's bring him in.
Yeah, Pierre Thompson that was a great battle we had there at the end. We had a few good battles, and one of the best ones I think of the night was Pierre and DeLeo going at it there right at the end of the race. And Pierre, I know it kind of didn't work out for you this time, but kind of walk us through that battle. How did that go, and how did you feel racing with DeLeo there at the end?
Yeah, I mean the pit strategy at the end there was kind of tricky. I knew I had to pit the lap after the leader, or the guy that was in second, because he was quicker. So if I let him run laps by himself, he would have just gapped me. But I was shocked when, we came by and DeLeo came out of the pit right beside us, because I only thought he was the one I was racing. But yeah, kind of left the door open there on the last lap, and he snuck through. But solid result for me, I think. I mean, I'm not really comfortable at this track, so really shocked to even be talking to you guys tonight.
Yeah, well, for a track that you're uncomfortable with, P3 is a really good result. And like you said, you had the lead for a while, and you did the pit stop and actually came out in front of Alcrudo. And I know he had some really, really good pace today, but was there a moment, did you think maybe you'd be able to hold him off and maybe take the lead? Was that ever on your radar at all?
I was dreaming about it, but I knew eventually he was going to get me. I kind of got messed up with one of the lap cars there. I was trying to use his draft, and then I overshot turn 1, and that's really how he got me. I overshot turn 1 and messed up the S's there. I had to slow down, so he got by.
Yeah, I think we were wondering about that. Well, it's a good result. It's good to talk to you as always. You always give us a really good show, really good racing, back and forth with the other guys. So great result. Enjoy the P3 and good race, man.
Thanks, man. Pleasure talking to you guys.
So you go, a solid result for Pierre Thompson this evening. And we won't have Miguel Alcrudo, it seems, here this evening. So we will go down and grab 4th place. That'll be Mason Hausman. And Mason, it was certainly, I think, maybe your best showing so far in this North American Racing League. I know you've had some issues with connections and issues with, I mean, gosh, it seems like everything has gone wrong at some point this season. But tonight it seems like everything went right, or at least manageable for you, and you're able to get a couple of top 10 results. How'd it go?
It was a good race. I really need to finish. I really need to figure out my qualifications. I think if I could figure out how to set those correct, then maybe I can be fighting up there for a podium. I know Alcrudo was really quick today, so I just let him go by. Whenever he caught up to me, I was trying to learn his line, but by that time he was gone. So I was like, well, that's okay. But I mean, I'll take it. I just bought the track a little bit ago, or well, before the race. So I mean, I'll take the top 5. I finished 4th, so I'll take that. But yeah, the qualifications is what kills me right now. But it was a really good showing. I'm proud of all the drivers. Proud of Jordan White. We did really good. I know we had a couple of incidents there, but I mean, pretty good for his first showing, kind of. But I'm proud of him for it.
Yeah, of course, you guys have a huge effort at Spirit Racing in this league right now. I know a couple of drivers have missed a couple of races. I know it was odd not seeing Brendan out there tonight, but you were able to get Cameron in for the sprint race, and even Brandon ran the sprint race. So as far as you guys as a team, obviously we've well documented your oval racers by trade, but trying out this road league thing, and what have you guys learned so far?
I know a lot of guys, they learned a little. I've seen it a little bit in the oval racing, but a little bit of discipline. Kind of staying a little bit reserved. I've learned that. I'm normally an aggressive driver, and I know Indy wasn't my best showing on maybe the aggression side, but I learned a lot on how to pace my momentum and really put the position of where I want to be and not force a issue that could happen if I put myself in a situation where we could wreck. But no, I think all my drivers have learned a lot. I know Brennan doesn't do much for me on the oval side, and I'm pretty sure. And then I got all the other guys joining me next season for the oval. But I think all of them have really grown as drivers and as people because of this league. It's a really good league, and it teaches you a lot, and it humbles you a lot. I mean, I've been humbled a lot, and I'm talking about a lot. And it teaches you to put your best self forward and just move on.
Now, I will ask quickly, you guys all went for the Mustang. The whole team, all 8 of you, all for the Mustang. Have you guys decided after this maybe to try a more nimble car, or do you still believe in the Ford?
I like the Ford personally because it fits my driver style. I could be a little more aggressive with it, but I could see where maybe like a Ferrari, maybe. I like the look of the Mercedes a lot. I like the look of the Aston, but I think I guess I didn't really know. I thought everybody had to run the same car, so that was a misjudgment on my point. I should have let people choose who they want. I think it was Braxton really wanted to run the maybe it was Braxton. I think it was somebody really wanted to run the Lamborghini. I was like, no, we got to run the Mustangs. We got to be conjoined all together. And now I see that you don't really have to do that. But no, I think the Mustangs taught maybe everybody a little bit. But I know for me personally, I'm hoping next season they don't really do much to it so I can run it. Because I'll hopefully be back for the season next season, if that makes sense.
I think it does, and it also makes sense, I think, to go from a stock car into probably the closest to a stock car in GT3 right now, and that is the Mustang, so I think it makes sense. Yeah. But Mason, good to talk to you. It's been a little bit, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Yep, I appreciate you boys. You guys put on a great show tonight. I really appreciate Andrew. I really hope really appreciate you, Chris, for stepping in with these races. You bring a lot of experience to it with you running with the pro guys and pro-am. So, I mean, you bring a lot of experience. And Andrew, obviously, you bring on a good product. Thank you to all the NARL admins for putting this show on. You guys have a great league. Keep doing what you're doing. I want to thank Premier Setups. I want to thank, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting Braxton's, I don't know how to pronounce it. But no, I appreciate all the sponsors that are on the car. And, they bring us the best foot forward. So, I just appreciate everybody in the league and everybody for proving me that there's a much to learn. So, yeah, I appreciate all of you.
And then once again, Mason Houseman, 4th place. Didn't quite make it into the driver of the day vote, but Mason, I think he'll be there soon.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Mason.
And Mason Houseman, solid fourth place effort tonight here at Mexico City. We can take a look now and award that driver of the day vote, but not before we give a big thank you once again to our partners with the series, Maradness, JS Consulting, Screw Compressor Service, and Rocket Designs. And again, to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. I mentioned the driver of the day vote. I think it's going to predictably go to the driver that ends up winning both races here tonight. Miguel Alcrudo takes it in car 544, and I don't think there's anybody who... I think certainly there's other drivers who deserved it, but I don't think anybody deserved it more than Miguel tonight.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate statement. He swept it. He didn't put a foot wrong even when he had to avoid an incident. He went off the inside of turn 1 to avoid an incident, and then the incident kind of followed him further out there. He had to go really wide. And even then, he just kept his cool, did everything he needed to do, and gets all the accolades today. So really great job from El Crudo. Excellent.
And I want to look back quickly at the power rankings coming into tonight. There you see Jose up top and Miguel about 10 points back. That, I think, is going to swap. Getting the 2 wins tonight, Miguel, I think, is going to jump. I think Jose will still be up there in the top 3, might come down a little bit. I think Pierre will jump up, certainly. Tiago's going to take a hit. I think Cooper Brownell will probably be around where he was. I would think Emiliano Almiron might bump a little bit, but his 12th place here, the feature's certainly going to hurt him. Devin Jenkins, of course, got hit pretty hard today as well, so it's going to be hard to expect, hard to predict where he will be. Stevenson, I'm not really sure. He had a great night, actually. A very quiet but great night. Alex DeMarco as well. Anthony Wayand, I think, also kind of a little bit off this evening, but was at least in the mix. And certainly Mason Houseman, I think, a great case to get back into the top 10. So we'll see kind of how things work out as we get ready a month away for Watkins Glen for these AM drivers. Until then, one more look at what's upcoming for us here at the channel. There you see it, Chris. I'm excited for these next 3 races. A lot of oval racing, yes, but very diverse across the board. We have next-gen cars on Sunday morning. That's pretty much a GT3 car that crossbred with a NASCAR stock car. It's right in between the two. Traditionally, NASCAR stock cars are solid rear axle, rear suspension, 4-speed H-pattern gearbox, 15-inch wheels, and really thick sidewall tires. That's all completely different in the next-gen car. Each one of those things is completely different. It's more so pulling technology from GT3 and even a little bit of supercars. It's literally the same transmission, the same gearbox you would see in supercars, 5-speed sequential. So, yeah, just a lot of big differences now in the next-gen car. Of course, we've had it now. This is the 5th year of racing in that car, but it still feels brand new and just completely different from anything else in stock car racing. Regardless, we've got that at Las Vegas at 1.5 miles Sunday morning. Then we head over to the Paperclip in Ridgeway, Virginia for the NORA Retro Cup Series by Harpoon Design. I'm excited for that. 2003 NASCAR Cup cars, I think an easy sell, usually. That's always a lot of fun. And then Friday evening, again, a new one for us, taking trucks out at Daytona. I'm excited. Trucks, I think, are underused here on the channel. So Steering Wheel Nation going to attack the NASCAR trucks this coming Friday. And that series, again, I'm trying to hype this up. We want to see some crossover. We want to see some drivers go run this. That are in our other broadcasts and such. Again, 125 laps at Daytona. Of course, the live broadcast here on Pit Stop TV with pre- and post-race coverage. We will have custom Steering Wheel Nation trophies awarded to every single race winner. That's 13 trophies this season for 13 races. The winner interview will air later on the Tom Baker Show in April. Tom Baker is well integrated within the racing industry here in the North Carolina area. We're talking open wheel racing, mostly modified racing out of New York, but also just in the grand scheme of things in oval racing across the board. So that interview will go out on his show. Pre- and post-race media coverage as well from Steering Wheel Nation, and then, of course, some coverage inside the Inside Groove Pit Pass community. That is the kind of big selling point right here. So basically, you'll subscribe to the Inside Groove Pit Pass to enter yourself into all the races that SWN will be hosting this year. And that's one subscription each month. It gets you into all the races. Now, you have to keep that subscription each month. Some months, to start out, yes, there will be just the one race. Later on, more races will be added to the schedule, trying to get things started. It's all come together very quickly, but trust in the process. More races will be on the calendar. There will be a lot of racing coming up soon. Tom Baker's got his head in a great place. I think a great direction coming very soon for this new league. And hey, Friday night truck racing, that's exactly the way you want it. I feel like that's a perfect night for truck leagues, I feel like, and I'm excited to see how it goes very, very soon here on the channel. You can catch all of this and more on Pitstop TV across the social media platforms down below. And to quickly shout out some of the tracks we'll be hitting there in that truck series: Daytona, Las Vegas, Charlotte, that's free, by the way, just get the truck, you can race that one. Nashville Super Speedway, Michigan, the Old Atlanta, that's a legacy track, Talladega, Chicago, Phoenix, Homestead, and a few more that are to be announced. I'm hyping this up because we really want this to succeed. We want to see you guys go run it. So let's get some crossover. Let's get some of you road guys into the oval thing. Maybe we can get you in there, Chris. Yeah. Who knows? But a lot of great racing coming
for trucks.
Up. Yeah.
I would definitely be down for trucks.
We'll have to get a dirt race in there somehow. Maybe we go to Oswego Dirt and really throw you guys for a loop. But that might be a pipe dream. I'm not sure. But again, a big thank you to all of our partners here at the channel, and a big thank you to the North American Racing League once again having us here for Season 9. And we've got a lot of great racing coming up. We have only just hit halfway here in season number 9 of the North American Racing League GT3 series, and a lot more is on the way here in 2026. Chris, thanks for joining me once again. Thanks all of you for watching. We'll see you all next time for the North American Racing League. It's a little bit of a wait until April the 2nd, but a lot of great racing here on the channel. Until then, do not miss it. Check everything out here at Pitstop TV. We'll see you again soon. Green flag back in the air. Brendan Maddox out of Buzzio. The whole field chomping at the bit. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. The Lucky Performance Overtime rules reminding you that if we get back around to the white flag, this race is official. Buzzio with a push from Dyer. Maddox with a push from Hughes. Zach, I think we're going to get there.
I think we will. Coming back around, Buzzio leads the group. Through the tri-oval we go. No caution. Sam Dyer looks to the outside. 3 wide for the race lead. White flag is in the air, presented by Whiplash Simcams. Sam Dyer is all by himself on the top line, Andrew. There is nothing that he can do. He's going to start dropping back, and Brendan Maddox is out in front by himself. I do not want to have a gap that big.
We'll see how this one works out. Maddox moves up, now moves down. That checks up the bottom side. Here comes Buzzio. Here comes Camper. Here comes Plord, all on the top side of the racetrack. Maddox now going to try and fight back on the bottom with a push from Buzzio's teammate. That's Hughes down low, and Hughes isn't pushing the lead. Now he gets there from a push from Mason Houseman to the stripe. It's going to be a drag race. Adam Buzzio, Dakota Camper. He's going to look down to the inside, and Camper is going to shove alongside of the 5. Dakota Camper, maybe? No, Buzzio's got to win this season.
Oh my goodness, what a finish.